Okay, welcome back to the show. Thank you guys for coming to tap in with me. It's been a little time. This is gonna be part two of damn, I forgot the name of the video, but I know y'all been waiting on it. I definitely like getting on here and sharing my experiences with you guys. Keeping it real. These things need to be said. Y'all gonna have to bear with me. I'm on baby duty right now. It's the middle of the night. So, y'all gonna have to bear with me. I can't get excited. Okay, so pick up where we left off. I gotta go to G1. I gotta go to ITP, which is Intensive Therapeutic Program, because they feel like I need structure, and I need some kind of behavior discipline. I need to be under some kind of discipline. So they sent me to ITP, which is really boot camp. I want to put a little context around what we're talking about before I even get started. All right. So they send me to G1. Okay, so G1 is a part of B unit. When you get to the campus, when you get to the compound, it was in Alto, it was A unit, B unit, and C unit. Okay. A unit was where you first come in at. It had diagnostic in there, and they also had like what you would call the honor dorm. Those were the inmates the convicts who had been locked up long times and had stopped getting in trouble. Those were the guys who had certain details that were trusted to the prison, like teachers' aides and warden. They might have one of their details might be the warden office, which means they go in the warden office and clean up and vacuum and do all that. So these kind of people, somebody worked in medical, these kind of people gonna be in A unit. There's really the good folk dorm. You ain't gonna expect no trouble from them. Those people don't really go to the hole because they don't really want to lose whatever they got going on. Next, you got B unit. B unit, okay. So it's so some of these things we want to remember even as we talk about this. Like for instance, like when I just said B unit. So the thing is, we're not supposed to show fear. We're not supposed to show that we are afraid or we're afraid. Just as men, there's not a person, if you go to the young men dorm time, there's nobody you can go to and be like, hey man, you scared to go in that dorm? And they'll be like, yeah, hell no, I'm gonna stay out of there. That's unheard of, because that's just something you're not gonna admit that you're scared while you're in prison. The truth is, I was terrified. When they talking about B unit, man, listen, I was terrified. B unit had G1 and G2, F1 and F2, E1 and E2. Out of all those, to me, this just because the only time I went to B unit was when I was in G1. But the word was, F2 was, the quote unquote Thunderdome. That's where it was going down there. You can get your manhood robbed up there, or you could just get, beat the smithereens. Some guys signed PC. I'm gonna be honest. It was never it was never an option for me. There are only a few options. but PC, protective custody, was never one of them. I would even be safe to say that to I was too stupid to go. A smart person probably would have went to PC, especially if the situation get hot or got hot. You know what I mean? If the situation became too much, go to PC. They lock you in the cell. You in there by yourself. They bring you your meals. It's not a bad option to being someone's girlfriend or, being strong-armed every week, and having nothing to being picked on, being the dorm punching bag. But again, I've never viewed myself as weak, and protective custody was never an option for me. So So when I say B unit, first of all, I'm going to admit I was terrified. Didn't want to go. Did not want to go. I felt like the other units, C unit and A unit, probably a lot of people felt like this. Matter of fact, I know they did. Probably won't admit it. But C unit and A unit, you could live. You could, it might be some problem or some drama or whatever, but you could pretty much make it. If your ass go up to B unit, it's like you really got to show what you know. Even some of the tough guys were getting, that they couldn't stand up in B unit. And I never went, don't get me wrong, like if they just came with the moving list and said that I had to go to B unit, cool. Like I had to go to G1, so I went. But if I ever had an option, they gave me an option where I wanted to go after I left G1, which is B unit, and I said to dorm 15, which is C unit. I got out of B unit. So you got B unit, which is all those dorms that I named, and then you're gonna have C unit. C unit is down the hill. It's open dorm, like I was telling y'all about. When we were in the 17-year-old dorm, we were in C unit. We were in C16. It's open, so it's just as much. It's to me, it was a lot more fun. But there was never the threat of like being sexually assaulted because it's an open dorm. Even though it still could happen, but you got a way higher probability with being somewhere in a door, because if someone lock you in the door, then it's it's a different situation. I ain't need no running, and running was never an option also. But this is just the way that I'm thinking. So another thing, when it came to I got my notes right here. When it came to war, when it came to fighting, I can say this now. I would never have admitted it then. But a smart person know their weaknesses. I would think everyone know their weaknesses, but a smart person would try to capitalize and do what they can for their weaknesses. And even me, I found out my weakness when it came to, when it just came to me. And I say it now because none of you better not try it now. Better not try it. Anyway, I come to find out, man, I don't even know if this is a weakness, because I think pretty much everybody got this, but I think it's my chin, man. If you get my chin right, you know what I mean? If you can connect on my chin right, it'll make me dizzy. Or I should say, the couple of times that I did get chin checked, those were the hits that affected me the most. If I got punched in my eye, it wouldn't do nothing. If I get punched in my head, it hurt, but I can keep going. But if somebody catch that chin, it can. That's the dizzy. That's the dizzy. For me, it's different for everybody else. It's different for different people. So after a couple of, and I found this out the hard way, fighting. So after a couple of fights, and now I know how my chin is, for the most part, I've determined that I'm not a good warrior in the room. The whole 10 years, I never admitted this to anybody. Man, I was terrified of the room. To have to fight inside of that room, because understand, this is a cell. It's probably smaller than your downstairs bathroom. You know what I mean? That the guest bathroom that don't have no tub in it, don't have no shower, it's probably it's either the same size or smaller than that, with two bunks in it, two metal bunks, steel bunks. The walls are concrete. Everything is concrete. Your zinc, ZINK, which is a sink and is metal, but so they call it a zinc. I don't know why, but it's protruding from the wall. You have a metal door. Everything, your desk and the stool that comes out from it, all that steel. So if there's an accident, and I mean this stuff is like the way that it's situated, it's they right up against each other. So if you're trying to slam someone against the bed, you could clip your if you're trying to hurt them, you could clip your leg on the stool, and it's straight metal. It's not gonna move. So for me, my biggest fear was trying to fight in that room, because again, not only are you worried about the other person, you're trying to, and I'm a smart fighter, you're trying to learn what's going on with them, if they can or can't fight. Not only that, but you also have to be conscious about your whole surroundings. So even if you on attack, if you attack and miss and punch that bunk, you could injure yourself. I'm talking about a bad injury. If someone's stronger than you and they trying to slam you on the ground, and they mess around and your head hit that desk or that metal stool, it could damage you bad. It could kill you. So I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't a fan of fighting in the room. When we were in C unit and it was open dorm and the showers were open, man, we get in there and rumble, because I have space to dance around. We can do what we need to do. I can, if I need to, even if I gotta run, even if I gotta, it's just, more like boxing. In that room, it's gonna be straight rumbling. Who chin the hardest, who fist the hardest, who got the most of what, and this is really do or die. So boom, I get that out the way. Terrified to fight in the room. So they send me to, okay, I done told y'all where we going. I done found out my homeboy, Moss, he been sexually assaulted by the same guy that sexually assaulted my other homeboy, Chris. And, and they just sent me to the dorm where this dude at. Me and this dude already don't like each other, because we done had we done had a situation to where I thought he was caught, someone was calling somebody red, and I thought they were talking to me, so I snapped off the muscle, and he asked me who the fuck I was talking to, so I told him who the fuck I was talking to, and we agreed we were gonna handle that business. My best friend went in while I was chilling. My best friend went and told me that when he went and handled it behind the scenes, and let him know that I was new on camp and whatever, and I was hot headed, and give me a pass, and dude had agreed to it. What I knew about him was, or at least the rumor was, this nigga been locked up since he was 12 years old. Yeah, locked up since he was 12, and he's like 20 something now. So he had been locked up over a decade already. He had never had a woman. At least these were rumors, and I can't say how true they were, but these were the rumors about him. He had never had a girl. He had only been with guys, and he was in there for murder. He beat some dude to death. First, it started out as a fight, and then he beat the dude with his hands to death. It was also rumored that him and his brother did it. It was a team effort. I don't know how true none of this stuff is, but this is what I learned about him, rather. Also, I done also learned that, now I remember my best friend told me this, that Said his right hand was that was where the magic was at. He didn't have a fight game, and his left hand probably was trash, but his right hand is what did all the damage. And this what I was told beforehand when I was getting ready to fight him the first time. So so they moved me in G1. When they move us in G1, I remember we had to like lined up maybe about 6 or 7 of us. We had to line up against the wall, and like the guys in G1 were already at a like in a uniform stance, like they were waiting on us. And I guess it was to kind of show us how, to prepare us for what was going on. They would, they put on some kind of little thing. The sergeant put them at parade rest. Okay, so when I go in G1, I've been in prison already, a while, but now when I come in G1, it's different. These niggas is doing cadences, and they all in line. Everybody look uniform. They actually look really good. Everybody boots were shining, and the officers look different also. The officers had on different shirts, and they had on like the top hats, like the state patrol wear. They had on those kind of hats, like military hats with the brim on them. We had Officer Venable, who was the guy. He was just like the regular officer and always there. Then we had Sergeant. I can't remember the sergeant name, but the sergeant was over the ITP program. It was basically his program, and these guys were from the military. Officer Venable, all he did was work out all day. Like if he wasn't like in your face fucking with you, and I mean they get right in your face, they talk, they smack your head with the hat, they do that shit right there, put it all in your face. This bit, Officer Venable was at least about 6'3". All he did, and you'll just catch him on the back of a chair doing back arms like this, and this to get the back of your arm swole. It's almost like push-ups, but for the back arms. Or you'd catch him doing push-ups. He just work out all day. You could tell he was obsessed with it. And then he'll get in your face and be talking this shit, and his breath, he might spit on you, whatever, but you can't do. So when you go to ITP, this was the first thing they told me. You automatically got 90 days. That's what you sentenced to. That's how you complete the program. So I can't remember how long it was. I can't remember because I never got one, but any disciplinary report, any DR, that's gonna set you off. It might set you off like 30 days. If a DR could set you off 30 days, they had little infraction slips that you could do if you got in trouble. That might give you an extra 2 weeks or whatever. So my whole goal was, even when I'm going in, my whole goal was I'm not getting in any trouble. You literally had people that had been in ITP a year, 2 years. I mean, they had been in their room that long, and they would continue to do shit to get infractions in order to have to stay. Either they wouldn't have their boots tied all the way, or they wouldn't be shining, or whatever it was. Some guys had chosen to stay in the ITP dorm. Also, since I've been in prison, we've been going. I told y'all what was going on. Okay, so since I've been in prison, So since I've been in prison, we've been going to bed at 10 o'clock every night. And on the weekends, you can stay up to 1 o'clock. That's the rule. When I get to ITP, we going in the room and lock down at 7 o'clock. We go in the room, locked down, it's still light outside, and we done for the day. I like this and I didn't like this because I'm gonna be honest, I was also afraid. I'm going into a dangerous situation. But if we lock down, it's supposed to be some form of safety. And it really wasn't true. So I don't know if she gonna let me do this, y'all. So, like I said, when I'm coming in ITP, when I first come in the dorm, they got everybody lined up. They call out a couple orders. The dudes do what they do: turn left, left flank, right flank, all this shit right here, right? So I'm seeing what's going on, and it seemed to be a pretty good dorm. Man, listen, I am in a dorm full of goddamn degenerates. Dorm full of them. Excuse me. Excuse my language, you know what I mean? She can't understand that yet. You had Travis, who I already did a video on, the guy who killed the guy over a cigarette, which it was said that it was over a cigarette, but it really wasn't. It was over a girl. He was in there. That's the dude. He was basically retarded. He had been diagnosed. Both of his parents were like certified crazy. His mom had schizo. His dad was in the war, and it was real bad. He was fucked up. So he was in there, and when I told y'all about him the first time when they went and choked that boy out, he was pretty much normal size. He was a big guy for he was naturally a big guy, but he had no girth to him or no muscle, no cut. By the time that I got the G1, he was a totally different person, and at least 3 times as scarier. Okay, so now he's so big. His head was already big, like really, really big, tattoos on his face. And just a total idiot, man. Really mean guy. And now he's been, well, they said that he had been, some of the guys in Alto who worked out a lot would take some kind of way, they would get yeast from the kitchen, and like raw yeast, and eating it or doing whatever the hell they did with it, it would swell them up. That was also dangerous because sometimes that stuff could probably go to the wrong place. It might not divide evenly or whatever, but it looked like Travis was one of the guys on the yeast. His head was already big, but now his body is so big that it make his head look small. His neck is coming out like this. It's like it's his head, then his neck coming out like this, and then he was real wide. He was so wide that he was doing everything like side to side. I don't think he could throw like straight punches or, but he had turned into a workout monster. That's all he did. After Officer Venable and the sergeant left for the day, that's all he would do. He would work out, which was new to me because I never known him to be a workout guy. So now you got this big, mean, scary guy who's now also a workout guy, but he's also like really huge and intimidating. Me and him knew each other in juvenile, so I'm thinking that we're okay. You got Mills in there, which we done already had our confrontation, and this nigga full of shit and full of game and full of tricks, and he's a booty bandit. You got Kiki in there. Kiki, to my understanding, was the leader of the Country Hog Killers. These were the guys who basically chose to stay in the ITP and would keep getting in trouble and having to stay in there. For what reason, I don't know. But even at 7 o'clock, when everybody locked down, there were a couple of guys that didn't have to lock down, and Kiki and his crew were the guys who didn't have to lock down. they had when you wear, I put another video picture up, but when on your stripes, when on your uniform, we have blue stripes. The country hog killers would like they would slice the bottom of their pants to make them look like bell bottoms. They would flap when they walked to make them look like bell bottoms to signify who they were. And some guys used to do it on campus. I don't know if they knew or not, but when I got to ITP, it was apparent that this belonged to the country hog killers. That was their style. That was what they did. So Kiki had a couple of guys, so with him who were hog killers, and he was the king of the hog killers. Also, if I'm not mistaken, it was, and all this could be rumors, I don't know, but it was also told to me that the hog killers were they would go after anybody, but they were kind of set or formed for the Atlanta guys who thought they were bad. And that's where the name come from. Like some of us Atlanta guys, we did think we were bad. So they'll call you a hog. You think you a hog. Yeah, really I am. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. Can't nobody do nothing to me. That's how you can bow hog some shit. If you like, if everybody's in the day room or the TV room watching TV, watching a show or whatever, then I come in and change it to Judge Judy. I just bow hog the TV. Oh, you think you a hog, ain't you? Yeah, I'm a hog. You see, I just took the TV. That's called bow hogging. So the country hog killers were like country niggas who I guess went after the bullies. In some kind of way, it became a country nigga versus Atlanta thing. So off the rip, the country hog killers, I'm gonna say they weren't too fond of the Atlanta guys, but these niggas they weren't like no vigilantes, and then they were manipulators and aggravators themselves. Y'all see, we got a lot to unpack. Once you get to start telling the truth, and all this going on, you see it's really a lot to unpack, right? So you got Kiki in there. You also got you got one of my homeboys, and you got a dude that I was in there with from juvenile, and we weren't on the same squad. We might have had clashed a couple of times, or they might have just stayed out our way, but we were in extended juvenile together. You got Fat Boy in there. Fat Boy, he from Augusta. Fat Boy, I don't know how much time he had, but this was the guy that I told you guys about, was in juvenile. They had brown stripes, and off the rip, we was about to go to war with them in the cafeteria. He the one smacked the table and stood up and started tying up his boots. And when he did that, the rest of the juveniles did the same thing. He was honestly, he was a natural leader, but a leader for the bullshit. But he was stupid as hell. He was bless you. He was a leader in some sense, but he was also a follower because, believe it or not, people, it was like, so being gay was the normal down there. And all the way to the point where it became cool. It became the popular thing. If you were gay or if you had done something to somebody, you weren't looked at as bad or a predator or anything like that. You probably was looked at as normal. And if you were standing strong and not doing anything, you probably was looked at as some kind of weirdo or what, I don't know. So, damn, how I get on that subject? Who I was talking about? So Fat Boy. So, Fat Boy, like I said, he was, I could tell he was a leader because how he handled it in juvenile. But when he get over here, it seems like he's trying to impress the predators. He's trying to, if you ask me, it was all out of fear. Fear of being the victim himself. But he hanging with all the predators. He trying to act like he about anything, and he would even fight. I ain't gonna say he ain't have no heart, but Fat Boy was a boo game artist. A boo game artist is someone who like he pretty much gonna go try to scare you out of the fight before the actual fight. He really didn't have much of a fight game. But he talked good talk, and he was really fat. You know what I mean? He had titties. Bow, you can smack it. He had titties, and we were cool in juvenile, but just because of a mutual respect. So you gotta understand, it's crazy. Niggas in prison, and especially the young ones, and especially like us juveniles. I'm gonna be honest. See, at one point I had like the most, the most the most pit bulls I had were about 8. Had a couple of other breeds also, but 8 straight pit bulls. And the nature of the pit bull, I don't know if the other dogs are like this, but they will have a pack order. If they say like they have a pack, they'll be in a pack. But if say 2 of those dogs get to growling at each other, if they have like a strong game instinct, if they start the fighting, the other dogs that weren't even involved in the agitation, they'll choose sides. So if these 2 dogs get to fighting, you might have another dog come and jump on one of the dogs, and it'll be 2 dogs on one, or however the situation goes. If that should happen, if one of the dogs that's being attacked, if it becomes too much for him, if he or she starts screaming, then that will excite even the dogs that weren't in on the attack. They weren't thinking about doing nothing like this. If that dog starts screaming, it could like spark their natural instinct, and now you got 4 or 5 dogs ripping apart this one dog who was part of the pack, and you don't even know what's going on or what's happening. I've actually had it happen a couple of times to the point where I gotta go and rescue a dog, put everybody up. And then you learn, okay, look, I can't have 2 dogs at a time, 1 male, 1 female. This dog can coincide with this dog. This dog can be out with this dog. These 2 dogs cannot be around each other. That's how your yard end up. These niggas in prison are the same way. Y'all could be cool. It could be peachy cream. When we were over here, we were good. Now we in G1, and he with D people, and I'm cool. You know what I mean? They ready to eat me, and I'm no different. I was the same way. When I went to G1, the first thing I did was I didn't have no food, so me and I can't remember who it was, but me and someone else, I think 2 more, no, me and one other person were plotting on robbing a guy that we were in extended juvenile with. And, he was cool, but he wasn't a part of us, and we ain't have no bond or nothing while we were in juvenile. So now when I say rob him, we weren't going to like mass up on him, and then we were going to steal his shit. You know what I mean? We were going to, put together a plan. Maybe when they go out to do whatever, we were going to end up stealing his shit. And what happens is, most of the time, you don't get away with something like that. So when he find out who it is, we just going to say, fuck it, and fight for it. Because even after the end, if I end up fighting for it, it's my stuff. I ain't got to get nothing back or whatever. But again, that depends on who you are. Because if you steal my shit and we end up fighting for it, you still got to give it back. So it's politics. It is what it is, whatever. Me and the guy, and again, now I'm man enough to admit that I even did this out of fear. I'm trying to recruit Travis to get in on my bullshit so that I can really align myself with him and because he's the closest thing to familiarity, if that's a word, and that I know in this dorm, because I don't know nobody, and he big, and we were in juvenile together. We were okay, but now, we were cool, but now, I don't know. He been here before me, so I take the robbery to him like, bro, we finna goddamn get such and such and such. And and he listened to the whole plan. You know what I mean? He listened to the whole plan, and it was like it was all good. And I remember being so confused because, like I said, this nigga just started talking crazy. And this, like I said, this how he is. Man, you never know with Travis. You never know with him. He started talking like, why y'all ain't gonna do that? That's stupid as hell. Did you know he Jabo cousin? See, I'm the kind of nigga, I go tell Jabo. I go tell Jabo right now, y'all trying to rob his cousin. So this what he just said to me. Like, he's sitting down, but he facing the other way. You know, we were cool, we weren't friends, but you know, now I don't know the angle. I don't know if he's saying this for real, like, and he got a relationship with Jabo, but what he said was true. The dude was Jabo's little cousin. Jabo was another one of the guys on state that had a really big name. Name was huge, and then when I knew his name a year and a half before I ever laid eyes on him. When I finally seen him, I was actually I was surprised. I don't want to say disappointed, but you know, his name is a lot bigger than he was, and a lot of times that'll happen. Like, you got some guys with some hearts that just can't be. Man, listen, they can't be beat. And matter of fact, it just reminded me of a story about my homeboy Lil Tim. I'm gonna tell y'all about that. But they can't. They just They hearts can't be matched, and they hearts be way bigger than their body. Jabo was like that. He was a gangster. He was a straight soldier. I think he had, you know, some kind of length of time. Maybe I can't. I have no idea what kind of time he got. I know he had been down a while, and his name carried weight to the point where, just like that shit just happened, just saying that that's Jabo cousin could throw off the whole plan. It could even, if someone went and told Jabo that I was plotting against his cousin, he could probably have me done real bad in there. And I had big homies also. My main big homies were probably, you know what? I ain't even met them yet. I ain't even met them yet. I was about to say Lemonhead and Big Nard, but I know that I ain't met them yet because I met them when I went to 15 after I graduated ITP. So right now I ain't got nobody to call on again. So that plan goes sour. Travis act like he gon' switch on me. Now I know that this person that I thought we were cool, we ain't cool. And again, I'm pretty sure that from my end, this is coming out of fear. I'm probably not showing no fear now. I'm confident in this, but I know that, you know what I mean? The only reason, because if I had a choice, I wouldn't even fuck with Travis. You understand what I'm saying? So that was some coward shit. And he ain't go for it. Probably could have got me in trouble. Man, this video at 38 minutes already, and I ain't even started. Okay, so we had that going on, and who else did we have in there? Also, I see Moss in there. I see Pool in there. I know Pool from Juvenile. I know Moss from Juvenile. And even with me saying I'm knowing these guys, I'm trying to identify who I know and, you know, who I can kind of gravitate to. But at the same time, I know that, you know, if something were to happen, these ain't soldiers. You know what I mean? Moss was war ready, but you know, I know what didn't happen to him. And Pool, I never heard anything soldier about him. As a matter of fact, it was a rumor that that Pool was one of Mill's boys. I told y'all what a boy was. And I made the stupid mistake of either laughing at a joke or, you know, I'm gonna be honest, I was young and I was stupid. I probably said something, but somebody mentioned something about somebody I had to be cool with or hanging with or talking with, said something about like Pool was always in Mill's room. Mill was a known booty bandit. So if you were in his room all the time, it would just automatically be assumed that he was doing something to you. The dude Mike D was always in his room, so we knew this, and maybe even Mill would do this for that reason. He would always have them in his room and tell them to do stuff just to show the rest of the dorm that these guys belong to me. I honestly don't know how true it was, but this is what was being said. And I either laughed at the joke or I said something stupid like, yeah, boy, Mill got to be putting that thing in them boys back. And someone went back and told Poole what had happened. They either told him what I said or told him that I laughed at the joke or whatever it was. Now my homeboy, now Poole, which we were cool in juvenile, but now he don't like me. That baby free pass. Come on, free pass. Come on. So now Poole don't like me. He don't like me because he think I've been talking behind his back, calling him a boy, in which I really did, and I should not have. And we were cool. All right, y'all. I'm gonna have to. I'll be back.